10 years of my life, I've been serving a purpose that I believe is fundamental for all of us. My mission is to give you back the control over your personal data. And unlike what you might think, I truly believe that this is the biggest challenge of our time. I will tell you why. In the age of artificial intelligence and global warming, our position, the position of humankind, appears to be more fragile every day. And if we have a look at history, what history teaches us is that progress is always exponential. At first, things seem to be always simple and very slow for a very long time. And they get more complex, then suddenly the pace accelerates. There is an inflection point, up to a point where sometimes we have a revolution and the beginning of a new era. Right now, we are kind of scared about our future. We do not know really what the future holds for us. We do not know where to go. We might be at this kind of moment, this order of magnitude. And personal data, to me, is one of the important solutions to our problem today. But first, it's good for us to go deep in our past to understand where we are today. So here, more than 13 billion years ago, the universe was created. It's a Big Bang. And at first, it's a very hot and dense plasma of matter that extends at a very high speed. But in the beginning, it's still too compact, very, very compact, and even light cannot escape. This changes 300,000 years after the Big Bang, where you see the first little empty gaps between the first atoms, and finally, the first light can circulate throughout the universe. This happened through a big flash. This flash happens everywhere at the same time, and this is kind of the moment where we switched on the light in the universe. After this event, our universe continues to expand. At first, we have very simple structures, simple atoms that start to gather into clusters. And thanks to the forces of physics, like gravity, they gather into more and more complex forms, up to a point where we see the first celestial objects that we all know, like the stars, the planets, or the black holes. Black holes are fascinating objects. They are so dense that they distort space-time and that they retain light. Light cannot escape from it. 4.5 billion years ago, Earth is created among the debris of the formation of our solar system. At first, Earth is a very hot and inhospitable place. You don't want to live here. But then, little by little, it changes and allows the next big revolution, life. Three and a half billion years ago, life appears on Earth. At first, again, very simple, unicellular organisms. It will take a very, very long time, 1.5 billion years, to get to the next step with multicellular organisms. And then, over a very long period of time, thanks to the forces of natural selection, we get to see more complex forms, like plants and animals, as we know them today. The specificity of life is that we've got animated objects that can capture information from the world process it in order to survive. One of the very specific life forms created is us, humans, and it triggered the next revolution. 2.5 million years ago, we appear, humans in their primitive form, appear on Earth. We are a very specific animal. We've got sharp senses. Our view, for instance, is quite good. And we can walk on our two legs. But what makes us very special is our brain. Our brain allows us to perform complex tasks, to process information very well. But the other revolution is the way we are able to share information among one another. At first in history, we were sharing information among small groups of individuals. Then we got better and able to share it among bigger groups of individuals. That allowed us to create a new kind of structure, our inventions. We had the first tools, the domestication of fire, art, agriculture, and writing. Writing is a revolution in itself. It allowed us for the first time to store information in a reliable manner and to diffuse it very efficiently. From this, we started another phase of our evolution and created more complex structures like our cities, religions, empires, nations, and so on. Everything that forms our civilization. Up to a point where we have the next revolution. We created the machines. It started in the 18th century with the first industrial revolution with the steam engine. And then very rapidly, we had two other industrial revolutions with electricity and computers and information technologies in the 20th century. This pace is crazy for us. Sometimes it's too fast for human beings to handle. Of course, we benefit from what the machine gives us, but we fear for our place in society. Machine could replace us with mechanical tasks in agriculture industry, and now they could replace us with intellectual tasks. Recently, in the end of the 20th century, we had internet and we started to work on artificial intelligence that is supposed to be able to simulate our intelligence, which is very scary for us. How does it work? You feed the machine with information. In the beginning, it was not very efficient. It didn't have enough information. But now, it's getting a lot better. It can recognize faces. It can translate languages. Not so good right now, but it will get better. In 2016, a team from Google created a machine called AlphaGo. AlphaGo is a machine that is dedicated to the game of Go, that is very famous in Asia. The game of Go was supposed to be out of reach for machines. It was too complex. But still, the Google team asked for the world champion of the game of Go, Lee Sedol, for a big game on TV in front of millions of people. The game happened. The world champion was pretty confident. And the machine won 4-1. The crazy thing in this game happened at round 2. For the first time, the machine did a really special move that showed it have what we could call creativity. This is puzzling to us, and it's astonishing to see that the machine is capable of doing this. 1 year later, the same team of Google created AlphaZero, the next version of AlphaGo, and the two fought each other, and AlphaZero crushed AlphaGo. Why did this happen? AlphaZero is a new version, and it doesn't learn through human games, by learning through humans. It fights against itself. It learns by itself. This is even more scary for us. It means that sometimes the machine does not need us anymore. This is a crazy step for us. But if we look at the 4 periods that we've talked about, it's always kind of the same process. The physics era took 10 billion years to allow life to appear. The biology era took 3.5 billion years to allow humans to appear. And humans had 2.5 million years to create machines. For each period, it's always the same. You've got, at first, very simple things, simple structures, and then, for a very long period of time, and then things accelerate suddenly. And it brings us to the next era. You also see that the periods between those revolutions are shorter and shorter. So it's kind of like everything accelerates. And if we think at the human age and machine age, I would say that it's kind of the same era. Maybe humans are machines. We are the same. Why do I say this? Is that one individual, one human, is a biological entity. But us together, what do? We process and share information in a very efficient way. That's what we call machine. So I would say that we are the machine, and the process of the machine started 2.5 million years ago with us. Maybe we should not be afraid. This is a normal process. But we have to find a way to do things correctly. There can be good with machines. There can be bad. It depends on how we use it and why. And I want to be optimistic here and show you 2 examples of a really good partnership between humans and machines. What is this? This is the cosmological microwave background. This picture is the flash I told you about 300,000 years at the very beginning of the universe. The first light of the universe. Thanks to our coordination and technology, we can see it now. Here is a second image. This is the first ever picture of a black hole. How did we do this? There was a team of hundreds of researchers all over the world that built a virtual telescope the size of the planet. Basically, we built an eye the size of the planet to observe the universe. This beast, magnificent beast, is located 55 million light years away from us in a very distant galaxy. This is maybe one of the most important pictures of the century. And what we see here is that humans, when they team up with machines, can create this kind of perspective, spatial or time perspective. It makes us understand that we are a little, very tiny thing in the big universe. But at the same time, it allows us to contemplate what's around us. It gives meaning to it. And I want to be very optimistic. We can achieve great things with the machines, like the black hole picture. In the end, I understand that this is a very scary moment for us. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. Global warming is coming. we don't know what to do and where to go. The thing is, we've got the machine now, and we have to find a way, if you want to use the power of the machine, to align our goals, human goals, with the machine goals. How to do this? We have, in a certain way, to communicate a certain human common sense to the machines. And how do you do this? With your personal data. Imagine a simpler machine, a car. You want to turn left, you take your steering wheel, you turn left. Most of the time, it works, the car turns left. But in the artificial intelligence age, where is the steering wheel? You don't know what to do. I tell you this, the steering wheel in the new age is our personal data. This is how the machine sees us, humans. This is a way for us to tell the machine what we are and what we want to do. And at the moment, we've seen in our very recent past that we are awful at this, at dealing with personal data. We have to get better now. We need it. It's essential to our future. And this is the biggest challenge of our time. If we fail, we might destroy our environment and maybe our civilization. If we succeed, we might overcome the biggest other challenges of our time, including global warming. So, to conclude, I would like to be very optimistic here. We've got something to do. We've got some work. We've got to take action and do something with our personal data. Thanks a lot.